My name is Patrick Weeg, and I am a clinical social worker at Des Moines Pastoral Counseling Center out in Urbandale. So I'm really interested in Gladys's question. To me, it's just fascinating, her question of what happened. I love that question. So I'm going to be talking to you about trauma. Trauma survivors have symptoms, not memories. Panic attacks, spacing out, overwhelming fear, health and relationship problems, just to name a few. Trauma survivors carry with them adaptations from the past, and all too often we don't link the past with the present. We treat individual symptoms without addressing root causes. So here's a story that I heard from Billy Marchek at the School of Social Work to illustrate this point. A drowning man is rescued by a bystander from a raging river. Then she rescues another, and at some point, the rescuer asks, "Why are people drowning in this river?" And she heads upstream to investigate and to stop this problem at the source. That's what I want you to take away from this presentation today. Curiosity about the cause of seemingly random groups of symptoms. What if I told you that we knew what's happening upriver in many mental health cases? What if I told you that the hidden causes of many mental, emotional, behavioral, and physical health symptoms is trauma, traumatic experiences? So what comes to mind when you think of the word trauma? Typically, people associate it with child abuse, war, natural disasters. While these may be the precursors to traumatizing people, events aren't necessarily traumatizing in and of themselves. Many people go through the same experiences and have very different reactions years later. Whether an event is traumatic has more to do with the mind and the body's ability to know that it is safe when the threat of danger is no longer present. Something wildly interesting happens with trauma survivors. The mind may think that they're safe logically, but the body remains in survival mode. The origins of this paradox lie in the biology of what are the so-called animal defenses. So imagine a gigantic Kodiak bear with a taste for Iowans walks through one of the entrances to this building. Tune into yourself and just imagine how you would react. Your response will probably fall in one of two major categories. You're either going to mobilize and take action, or you're going to shut down. So see which is more true for you. 2/3 of you will likely take action and mobilize. You'll yell for help, you'll run away, or you'll fight that bear. Fight, flight, and crying for help are physical actions. The body has a surge of hormones and neurotransmitters like adrenaline. All unnecessary body functions stop. Heart rate goes up, respiration goes up. The muscles tense in your legs and arms to either run or to fight. The remaining third of you will do the opposite, and you'll shut down. You'll curl up, make yourself small, or collapse to the floor. Numb out to sounds, smells, sights, and hardly make a movement. There will be a release of opioids that numb pain. Heart rate will plummet, breathing will slow, your arms and legs will feel weak. Sounds may sound as if you're underwater. You might float outside of your body and not feel like you. All this is an effort to cease any provoking of an aggressor and to survive seemingly unendurable pain. All of these defenses have been vital to human survival. The cry for help, flight, fight, freeze, submit, dissociate, collapse, they are the animal defenses. Part of what makes them so effective is that we don't need to logically think about danger to start protecting ourselves. If a car is barreling down the road at 50 miles per hour and you're standing in the middle of the road, slow, deliberate logic is not so helpful. Assessing which way to go, thinking about all of your options and weighing them carefully will probably result in roadkill. No, you hopefully react automatically and without thinking. Literally, the logical thinking part of your brain is offline under serious threat, and that's a good thing. All in all, this defensive system is supposed to stay on for just a couple of minutes to tops a couple of hours. That's what it was designed for. Then we shake it off, and our body returns to equilibrium, and our ability to think logically returns. So now imagine the mind and body of a person who escapes one car barreling down the road, then another, perhaps every day. That's what it's like to stay in survival mode. If a person is left in survival mode for too long without safety and calming of the body learns to live in or on the cusp of survival mode. And we see the symptoms of survival mode in the body. Panic attacks, rage, crippling anxiety, and chronic muscle tension. Another characteristic of these experiences when the body and mind are flooded with survival chemicals is that memory making is impaired. So people may not actually even remember parts or all of their experience, but the body remembers and is in a heightened defensive state, either hyper-aroused or shut down. Then people have a lifetime of trying to manage these symptoms while maintaining jobs, grades, and relationships. So survivors pick up habits to cope with their body's dysregulation, some less damaging than others, like working out excessively, and some more destructive, like self-harm, alcohol, and drugs. So what are we supposed to do if our body is in survival mode and our animal defenses won't stop going off? For example, after our traumatizing experience with that Kodiak bear that walked in with a taste for Iowans, simply seeing our friend Yogi Bear, simply seeing that picture might cause our body to physically react as if we're in danger, yet we know we're not. And in that situation, people then start to learn to take things like alcohol and drugs to calm their body. This is one way addiction begins. So our body prepares for action but doesn't need to act. To stop this cycle, we can allow the buildup of energy to discharge through mindfully being aware of shaking, trembling, and micro-movements, letting the body sensation move through. Or we can actually take actions that couldn't complete previously, mindfully pushing, kicking, and even running, completing the actions that our body is preparing to take in survival mode. Notice the caveat of mindfully moving with awareness of the present moment, without judgment. I'm not saying to punch your neighbor when you see a picture of a bear. Turns out that doesn't really help. So when you're slow and mindful, your body gets a chance to digest and integrate your experience. So you must be observing yourself as you act, which literally wakes up the thinking part of your brain, the frontal lobes that go offline in trauma. So to heal, we have to wake them back up. Until we do that, we will continue to pull out drowning survivors instead of going upstream and addressing the cause. I'm Patrick Weeg. Thanks very much.